Good evening. Thanks for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you tonight. A day after India reported a robust 7.2% GDP growth rate for FY23, multiple economists and brokerages hiked their growth estimates for the fiscal. SBI, UBS, Goldman Sachs, Citi and JP Morgan increased their forecast by 30 to 70 basis points. Automakers report robust sales growth in May. Maruti and M&M see double-digit growth. Maruti's monthly sales the highest in nearly 3 years. Bajaj Auto sales jumped nearly 30%. Electric two-wheelers get more expensive as the government subsidy cut takes effect from today. Sources say Bajaj Auto, Ola Electric, Ather have already hiked prices. Others likely to follow suit. The Karnataka government says Foxconn will start assembling iPhones in the state by April 2024. The state's IT minister Priyank Kharge says Foxconn will invest $1.7 billion with the proposed annual capacity of 20 million iPhones. GST collections rise 12% to 1.57 lakh crore rupees in May. Monthly revenues have stayed above 1.4 lakh crore rupees for 14 months now. Setback for SpiceJet. The Delhi High Court orders the airline to pay 380 crore rupees to former promoter Kalanidhi Maran. SpiceJet failed to make the payment of 75 crore rupees in 3 months as ordered by the Supreme Court in February this year. TCS shares gain as the new CEO Krithivasan takes charge. He will be the 5th CEO in the company's 55-year-old history. Biggest challenge will be to ensure TCS grows faster than its peers. The U.S. House of Representatives passes a bill to suspend the debt ceiling for 2 years, just days before the June 5th deadline. The Senate will vote on the bill later this week. Manipur remains tense with incidents of sporadic violence. The Director General of Police has transferred. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah warns militants to surrender weapons or face action. Bharatiya Kisan Union organizes a Mahapanchayat on the wrestlers' protest over the Federation Chief Brij Bhushan Singh. Rakesh Tikait says a committee will meet President Draupadi Murmu and Home Minister Amit Shah if needed. Another farmers' group holds demonstrations in Punjab and Haryana in support of the wrestlers. Well, let's start with the market action of the day. The Nifty and the Sensex ended 0.25% lower as financial heavyweights underperformed. The Nifty Bank fell close to 1%. However, mid-caps relatively outperformed the blue chips. The index ended mildly in the green. Pharma stocks also did well today. Now, the government's offer for sale in Coal India fully subscribed on day one. The non-retail portion was oversubscribed by more than 3 times. The government will offload up to 3% stake and could raise over 4,000 crore rupees. The floor price has been fixed at 225 rupees a share, which is a discount of over 6% from its Wednesday closing price. As of March, the government held over 66% stake in Coal India. That's the Coal India OFS. Now, the big macro story. Several economists and brokerages have upgraded India's GDP growth forecast for this financial year. This comes after the economy clocked a faster than expected 6.1% growth in Q4, which has lifted growth for FY23 to 7.2%. SBI hiking the full-year growth forecast by 50 basis points to 6.7%. Goldman Sachs, UBS and Citi have also hiked their forecast, and they expect growth to cross 6%. UBS has hiked its forecast by 70 basis points. JP Morgan has increased its estimates by 50 basis points. Economists point to several tailwinds for growth this fiscal. They believe capital expansion has started to take off and corporate and bank balance sheets are in better shape. Therefore, there is appetite to spend and invest.
When you really look into the data, I think it comes really from government capex. Both state government capex and the central government capex really took off in the last quarter of the fiscal year. What we have found is that in the last couple of months, it has been the informal sector that has really taken off, both in rural India and in urban India. And their consumption basket doesn't get picked up very easily by the CSO in the short run. So my sense is there could be a bit of underestimation there.
A lot of it is driven by government spending on capex, especially central government. State governments seem to have picked up, but over the year, if you see, actually, the state government capex numbers have been a bit on the disappointing side. A lot of it is driven by center. We know that corporate balance sheets are in better shape. Bank balance sheets are in better shape that they can, so it's possible for them to keep expanding lending.
And staying with the macros, the goods and services tax collected in the month of May grew by 12% on an annual basis to more than 1.5 lakh crores. However, this is lower than the record GST collections of nearly 1.9 lakh crore rupees in April. The monthly GST revenue, though, has stayed above 1.4 lakh crores for the 14th month in a row. India's manufacturing output hitting a 31-month high in May. That's on the back of higher factory orders. The manufacturing PMI compiled by S&P Global hit a reading of 58.7 in May, and any reading above 50 indicates expansion. S&P has also said that monitored companies have indicated better supply chain conditions. And India's automakers reporting robust sales growth in May. Maruti and M&M have seen double-digit growth. Maruti's monthly sales the highest in nearly 3 years. Bajaj Auto's sales up 30%. Sonia standing by with what's driving growth for Motown. Sonia.
Thanks a lot for that. You know, big trend I've noticed is that the auto sales have been much better than what the street was estimating for most of the companies that have reported up until now. So let's start with the strong numbers. The first one is Bajaj Auto, where the stock hit a 52-week high and has been one of the strongest performers after a good set of numbers that the company reported in May. It's a 29% growth that Bajaj Auto has seen, a large part of it led by domestic growth, which has doubled, and the management is very confident that the trend will continue to improve because the 125cc plus segment has outperformed in the market. After that, we come to Maruti, where the sales have gone up 10.5% year on year. Over here too, you've seen a premium segment growth. So the utility vehicle segment has seen a big surge this time, and that's the premium end, while the mini and compact car segment has been under a bit of pressure. In Escorts, the growth has been pretty good. The management commentary is positive. Total sales growth of almost 10%, almost 9%, and domestic sales growth has been better. And the management said that it's the impending monsoons which are expected to be favorable, as well as a pickup in, the rural spends, which is something that can aid the sales in the months to come. M&M as well, if you look at it, the auto sales have been very strong, led largely by SUV sales, which have seen a growth in excess of 20%. Total auto sales have gone up by 14% year on year, coming in at 61,415 units. But on the flip side, on the weaker side, it's M&M tractor sales that are under a tad bit of pressure. So while peers like Escorts have seen a 9% growth year on year, M&M tractor sales are down by 4% on a year on year basis. But largely, if you'd had to say, more hits than misses in this month's numbers. Back to you.
Sonia, many thanks for joining us. Staying with the auto sector, electric two-wheelers are set to get more expensive. This after the government subsidy cut comes into effect, and it comes into effect from today. Now, costs are expected to rise anywhere between 10,000 rupees to 40,000 rupees. Parikshit standing by now. Parikshit, what is the likely impact of this on companies and on consumers and sales?
Well, the government in the month of May, on the 19th of May, in a bid to increase the allocation for electric two-wheelers under the FAME subsidy, had increased allocation by 1,500 crores, but they decided to phase down the subsidy amount and reduce it by 25% from 40% of the vehicle cost to 15% of the vehicle cost. Now, this was a drastic cut. Subsidy loss for electric two-wheeler manufacturers is anywhere in the range of 10,000 to 60,000, depending on the battery capacity, the range of the vehicle, and the model. So here are some of the price increases. Bajaj Auto, which suffered a subsidy loss of 22,000 rupees, has increased prices for the Chetak scooter by 22,000. TVS Motor Company has increased prices for the iQube between 17,000 to 22,000, depending on the variant you're buying. Ather Energy has increased prices by 15,000 rupees. They've not completely passed on the subsidy loss to consumers. Ola Electric has also raised prices by 15,000 rupees. They've announced fresh prices of their scooter. Grease Crotton, they've increased prices by a significant 21,000 to 39,000 rupees. Everyone believes that this price increase will have some impact on demand, and the growth in EV sales is likely to drop at least for a few months before coming back, before bouncing back.
We had to increase the price of our two scooters as of now by 15,000 rupees, from 115 to 130 for S1 and from 125 to 140 for S1 Pro. Even with these price increases, they are the most affordable and the most value scooters in the market right now as compared to competition. And we are fairly confident that the price increases is not something which consumer is too bothered about. And in a matter of a week or two, we should be back on the trajectory.
Our flagship product, the 450X for the Pro Pack, that goes up by about 7,000 bucks, which actually essentially at that price point is really no price increase. It's essentially the same price, while theoretically increases, but there is very low price sensitivity there. And for the other product that we have, that's gone up about 25,000, 30,000. So different price points, different levels of absorption of hit, but overall not a big change from where we were.
So electric two-wheelers more expensive starting today. Now, Tata Motors' own Jaguar Land Rover is recalling more than 6,000 I-Pace vehicles in the US. The move comes amidst rising concerns over fire risk from potential overheating of the electric car batteries. The car maker will update the battery energy control module software and replace the batteries in some of the earlier models. As per a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Authority, there have been 8 reports of the company's vehicles catching fires in the US. The Karnataka government has said that Foxconn will start manufacturing iPhones in the state by April 2024. In a tweet, the state's IT minister Priyank Kharge says that Foxconn will pump in $1.7 billion as an investment. Shilpa standing by now to take us through the details. Shilpa, significant investment there coming in from Foxconn.
Yes, well, a significant investment for the Karnataka government also from Foxconn. Now, the government has said that, it will hand over this 300-acre land in Devanahalli, which is in fact Bangalore's outskirts, to Foxconn on the 1st of July. And the company plans to start assembling iPhone units here by April 2024. Now, while earlier reports suggested about a $700 million investment by Foxconn, the Karnataka government has now said that the Taiwanese Apple supplier will now invest 13,600 crores into this plant, and it's expected to create about 50,000 jobs. That's what the government has said. Now, Foxconn has already paid 30% of the cost towards the land to KIADB, and this project, which will be Foxconn's second such plant in the country, has a proposed annual capacity of up to 20 million, or that's about 2 crore iPhone units per annum. So apart from Foxconn and also Wistron, where iPhone assembly started in 2017, this will be yet another plant which will start assembling Apple's products, which is iPhones, in India. Back to you.
All right, Shilpa, many thanks for joining us. And speaking of Foxconn, the company said that they are in close communication with the Indian government to discuss the proposed semiconductor joint venture with Vedanta. This comes a day after the government said that it is allowing semiconductor program applicants to reapply for more mature nodes. In fact, the Minister of State Rajiv Chandrasekhar told CNBC-TV18 that since Vedanta has access to the 40-nanometer technology, they can apply again under a new window. Vedanta Chairman Anil Agarwal told us yesterday that the group is fully equipped to make semiconductors in India and that they don't intend to give up on that aspiration.
Semiconductors, these are the very technical, we are very comfortable, and this question will come and go, and whether 29 or 30 or 20, we are fully equipped. We have a David Reed, who was the pioneer of making semiconductor. He is hiring 400 people to make this happen. We have already selected the site of Gujarat, and government is with us shoulder to shoulder.
That's Anil Agarwal. Now, fresh trouble for EdTech unicorn Byju's. As per a Bloomberg report, lenders have called off negotiations to restructure its $1.2 billion loan. Talks have been allegedly called off after lenders moved to Delaware court, accusing the company of burying over $500 million of raised capital. The Delhi High Court has ordered SpiceJet to pay a total of 380 crore rupees to former promoter of the airline, Kalanithy Maran. The High Court order is the latest in a long-drawn court battle between the Maran family and the current promoter, Ajay Singh, over contractual obligations. Danish Anand standing by now with details. Danish, this is the latest court order. Where does this now leave this matter?
Well, in a big setback for SpiceJet, the Delhi High Court has ordered the airline to pay rupees 380 crores to the former promoter, Kalanithy Maran. Since the low-cost carrier failed to make the interest payment in the stipulated time, Delhi High Court has ordered to pay rupees 380 crores, which comprises of the entire outstanding amount, plus interest in compliance with the Supreme Court order, which is dated 13 February. The Delhi High Court has also asked the airline to submit an affidavit of assets within 4 weeks. SpiceJet, however, is disputing this amount and claims it has sought extension in time for paying rupees 75 crores. In a statement, SpiceJet has said that the airline is in discussions with Kalanithy Maran and the firm KAL Airways for a comprehensive settlement of this matter. The airline is confident of resolving the matter mutually, as they have already paid the entire principal amount of rupees 578 crores earlier awarded by the arbitral tribunal.
Danish, many thanks. And more aviation news. The Delhi High Court has reserved its verdict on lessors seeking the deregistration of the aircraft leased out to Go First. The cash-strapped airline had filed for voluntary insolvency resolution before the NCLT. The tribunal placed a moratorium on the airline's finance-related commitments as well as aircraft recovery by lessors. The decision was upheld by the NCLT on the 22nd of May. K. Krithivasan, veteran at IT giant TCS, takes over as the managing director and CEO from today. He will be the fifth CEO in the company's 55-year history. He succeeds Rajesh Gopinathan, who decided to step down from the role as CEO after 6 years. Rima standing by with the key highlights of his journey at TCS so far and what the street expects from him going forward. Rima.
TCS today welcomes its new CEO and MD, K. Krithivasan, the company's fifth CEO since it was set up in 1968. In fact, the company has had only 5 CEOs, and that shows it's a stable ship. It's a testimony to the stability and quality of its management. K. Krithivasan is a TCS veteran. You could call him a lifer, just like his predecessors. He joined in 1989. He's been with the company now for 34 years. During his long tenure at TCS, he's held various leadership roles in delivery, customer relationship, management, large program management, and sales. Prior to his elevation as CEO MD, he was the president and global head of the financial and insurance vertical, the BFSI vertical, which contributes about 32% to TCS's revenues and is the largest sectoral contribution. Now, Krithi holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Madras and a master's degree in industrial and management engineering from IIT Kanpur. Now, the question everyone's asking is, does the change of guard at TCS mean a change of strategy? And here, I would like to refer to what Krithi had to tell us in the Q4 earnings call. Leadership change doesn't mean a strategy change. All of us have been working with this organization for so many years, and all of us have a good understanding. Whatever strategy Rajesh put in place was also a collective leadership decision on how we want to go forward. So I don't expect a drastic strategy change. We will be tweaking on what we need to do based on the market situation. Now, the other question everyone's going to be asking him, what is the key ask from him? And here I suspect it will be to grow faster than its peer, faster than the industry. There is no doubt that under Mr. Gopinathan, the prior CEO, TCS has delivered a strong financial performance. The company has delivered a rupee revenue growth of about 11.5%, a constant currency revenue growth of about 8 to 9% over the last 6 years. But its peer, Infosys, has grown faster than TCS over the last 4 years. That said, TCS continues to maintain its margin supremacy over the industry and all its peers.
Rima, many thanks. Now, after days of tense negotiation between the Democrats and Republicans in the U.S., the House of Representatives has passed a bill to suspend the debt ceiling for 2 years. The bill has now moved to the Senate for a vote just days before the 5th June default deadline. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Threes. Number crunch for the best of the bunch. The bigger Q for the richer you. Hot trends, big noise, what's viral and what's out. We'll give you the market goals you need to stay ahead. Mad about markets.
Manipur remains tense with incidents of sporadic violence as the state's Director General of Police is transferred. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah has announced a judicial probe to investigate the reasons for the violence. He's also warned against any violation of the ceasefire in the state, saying that militants must surrender weapons or face action.
कठोर संदेश देना चाहता हूं कि सू एग्रीमेंट का किसी भी प्रकार का वायोलेशन, किसी भी प्रकार का विचलन बहुत सख्ती से साथ लिया जाएगा। जिन लोगों के पास हथियार हैं उनसे भी मैं अपील करना चाहता हूं कि अपने अपने हथियार पुलिस के सामने सरेंडर कर दें। कल से पुलिस कॉम्बिंग ऑपरेशन करेगी और कॉम्बिंग ऑपरेशन करने के बाद जिनके पास से हथियार मिलेंगे उन पर कठोर न्यायिक धाराएं लगाई जाएंगी।
That is the Home Minister. Now, the Bharatiya Kisan Union has organised a Mahapanchayat on the wrestlers' protest over Federation Chief Brij Bhushan Singh. The union leader Rakesh Tikait has said a committee will meet President Draupadi Murmu and Home Minister Amit Shah if needed. Another farmers' group is also holding demonstrations in Punjab and Haryana in support of the wrestlers. A massive landslide hit Uttarakhand Pithoragarh district, leaving 300 travellers stranded. The landslide washed away a critical road, which is reportedly expected to be open for traffic only after a few days. Meanwhile, the Weather Department has issued an orange alert till the 12th of June. It's also issued a dust storm and thunderstorm alert for over 12 districts. The government aims to make good on its promise of a running water connection to every Indian household by the end of 2024. 55% of the target has been achieved so far, as per government data, and officials say that the government is working on a war footing to cover over 7 crore households in the next 15 months. Sapna standing by with the details.
But it does appear that the government is working on a war footing to try and meet the Jal Jeevan Mission targets in terms of tap connections for rural households. So 16.21 crore rural households under the Jal Jeevan Mission when it was announced way back in August 2019. 55% of those rural households have already been covered, which means around 8.9 crore households, over 8.9 crore households already have a water tap connection. And 7.3 crore households have yet to get a water tap connection, which means 45% of them have yet to be covered. Government has planned multiple interventions to try and meet those deadlines. Also, within a day, for example, over 1 lakh rural households got water tap connections just between 29 May to 30th May. 50% of those connections came in UP alone. Apart from this, the government also has, better targets in mind, or rather more availability of water per day per person. So by 2030, the aim is to raise this to around 135 litres per person per day availability from the current 55 litres. And by 2047, the aim is, of course, to provide 24/7 water supply for rural households. These are ambitious plans, but the deadline as of now is August 2024. We'll have to wait and watch and see if that is met. And let's also not forget that COVID-19 was there between March 20 to September 21. So a lot of the time also went towards that. The work could not happen properly because of that. But these are the numbers as of now, and we'll have to wait and watch and see whether the deadlines are actually met.
Okay, Sapna, many thanks for joining us. The government has warned tour operators who failed to refund customers for trips that were cancelled by airline companies during the pandemic. The government has also issued several notices to LED bulb manufacturers over their ad claims. Abhimanyu standing by with more. Abhimanyu, what does it mean now for these companies?
The Department of Consumer Affairs has issued over a dozen notices to LED manufacturers over an issue of exaggerated claims and a mismatch between the life of an LED bulb and the claims which have been made while advertising these LED bulbs. It remains to be seen what replies will be filed by these LED manufacturers, based on which any further action will be taken. The department is investigating whether the degree of exaggeration is illegal as far as the life of an LED bulb is concerned compared to the warranty which is being advertised by the LED manufacturer. In another case, the Consumer Affairs Department is also investigating an issue where refunds were slated to be made by several tours and travel operators for bookings made during the pandemic or before the pandemic, which got cancelled due to lockdowns and other government-induced orders. However, several tour and travel operators had not refunded the amount despite a Supreme Court order to the same effect, and notices have been issued to these tour and travel operators. It remains to be seen how many refunds are already left and how many refunds have been made by these operators, based on which any further action will be taken by the department.
Abhi, many thanks for joining us. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news continues here on CNBC-TV18.